Folks, Jane Campion won Best Director and Best Picture for Power of the Dog at the Critics' Choice Awards, but I don't think it's going to be too much time before we hear an apology for this rather unfortunate statement where she probably should have kept her mouth shut.
Serena and Venus, you are such marvels. However, you do not play against the guys. Like I have to.
That was awkward. And it was awkward for a number of reasons. For me, it was, at first I found myself applauding and I thought, why did she say that? Because it sounded like overall she was drunk. And then it sounded to me like for some particular reason she had to zero in on the Williams sisters and talk about their tennis and how they would like for them to teach her how she's got tennis elbow. It's almost like she was in some way needing to prove that she was on their level or one up or whatever, rather than just congratulating them and leaving it at that. And so after digesting that rather unfortunate presentation, I happened to type Jane Campion racist in Google and found, is Jane Campion really racist? Really a racist? And this is from 2004. I didn't have a problem with your suggestion that Campion may be racist in the way that she represents non-white men in both the piano and this. In 2010, she is called by the Sydney-based as a racist from Australia in this take. Okay, so how should we think about what went down and why? What I keep focusing on is that for reasons best known to Jane, she decided to zero in on the Williams sisters as if she was jealous of their attention. As if she were upset that the audience gave them a standing ovation. And let's not forget, Jane mentioned Halle Berry just prior to pivoting toward the Williams sisters. Did Jane Campion have an issue with black women being celebrated by Hollywood? That's how it looks. Because she basically ended her rant, which I hold was drunken, because of the way she talked, because of the alcohol flowing, because of how ridiculous what she said was. And I'm not holding out being inebriated as an excuse. It simply reveals who you really are. A racist asshole. That's how it looked. But she put it in that oh so modern place of celebrating one group's triumph, women, well, let's be more clear, white women, in the space of faint praise of black women. In other words, yes, we've celebrated you, but I still remain. I still have the power. I still am the one that has a hold on the arguments of discrimination. That's how she presented it. In other words, yeah, we know that you're black. We know that you're a champion in tennis. We know that you survived, but you didn't have to do it against the white guys. And technically, the Williams sisters did have to do it against the white power structure. That Jane Campion arguably has benefited from more so than any black woman in her position. So, Jane really needs to have a publicly presented talk about this at this time. Because I haven't seen The Power of the Dog, but after Jane's presentation, I don't want to. I don't want to. It kills my desire to know more about the movie. It's not a true story. It might be based on someone's experiences, but what does it have to do with me as a black man in America? Okay? Those are questions that we start asking when the creator of the product reveals themselves to be not sympathetic to your story. In other words, I can hear your story, but let's talk about me. Right? I am so narcissistic, I can't possibly embrace your story without telling mine in a way that one-ups yours. That's what Jane Campion did. Horrible stuff. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com.